Hey everybody, it's Debbie O'Neill of Scrap Me Quick Designs, and I wanted to share with you one of my favorite places to find SVG files and new fonts to use in Cricut Design Space, or with any other electronic die cut machines you can use the SVG files. Anyway, super excited to share with you. It's CraftBundlescom. I know some of you may have seen me using some projects from them. They are a sister company to Hungry JPEG, which is also another great SVG and font site that I use. But CraftBundlescom they created just for us crafters. So the bundles here are always SVG files and some graphic elements that we can use for print and cut, and they always have different fonts for us, and each bundle gets put up and it usually is only available for a few weeks, okay, and then they may release another one. So I have been sharing this bundle with you guys, and some of you have been asking me, how do you download them and how do you get them into Design Space? So I'm going to show you that in this video. So I'm at craftbundles.com. When you go to craftbundles.com, if you use my link, I appreciate that. I do get a slight commission from them for sharing this with you. And but you go to craftbundles.com, and I have a special promo code that if you purchase using my link to their site, you get 20% off when you buy one of their bundles. Yay! All right, so this bundle, as for instance, is the Blooming March Craft Bundle, okay? This is the way they're all going to work no matter which bundle it is that you get, but it lets you know what's included in that bundle. And the great thing is, let's see, we're going to look at the bundle right here. This one's 250 SVG cutting files and graphics. It has 41 fonts from different font families. It's only $22, but guess what? If you guys are selling things using your Cricut machines, and they're craftbundles.com, the license, the commercial license is included with the images. So while you can't sell the image, you can sell a product that you made using that image. So that is really cool. So let's take a look at this one. So let's say you're on the site and you want one of the bundles, then you would use my link, go to the bundle. It's going to tell you about the bundle. It lets you know what all is included. Okay, so this is all the stuff in this one particular bundle. I mean, look at all that. It's amazing. These are focused on more spring type projects. Really super cute. Lots of Easter, mother, wedding stuff, you name it. So every bundle is going to be different. But then there's all these fonts as well. And so you would make your purchase, and there's always a timer on these bundles, okay? So this bundle's good for the next, 30 days or whatever. It'll tell you what it is. After that, the bundles go away and you cannot purchase that bundle. So when you see this, you may want to grab it while you're thinking about it. So what's going to happen is you'll make your purchase, and then you'll see that it says download, okay? So I'm going to click download. And now it's taken that bundle that I purchased and it's put it into this one says the Blooming March Craft Bundle, and it's a .zip file, okay? That means it took all of those images that we just looked through and it's put it in one folder, all right? So it's compressed it all into one folder, and then it goes into my computer, and I need to figure out where am I going to save this. So I have an SVG folder, and I'm just going to put them in there. And I have a craftbundles.com folder, so I'm going to put them in there. You decide how you want to put where you want to put yours, but you're going to put it on your computer. So I'm going to put this in my Craft Bundles folder, and okay, and I already laid it in there, but that's what I would do. I would put it in that folder. It's going to load it into my computer, and that'll take a second. for it to do that, and you'll see it in your system tray. Now I'm showing you doing this on a PC using Windows, so in your system may look slightly different depending upon if you're using a Mac or a different program, but you're just going to put it in your computer. So it's going through the process of downloading that zip file. That was a lot of data, so it will take a few minutes for it to upload, but don't panic. It is uploading onto your computer. So we've just got a few more seconds left, but look at all these really cool things you're going to be able to make with this. I'm so excited. Okay, so now it's finished uploading. So I see that here where you see me circling my mouse. Let's look at this. While we're on the Craft Bundles site, anytime you purchase from them, you'll have an account. So I'm logged into my account, and then you'll have this little arrow here that lets you know, it's like looks like a little cloud with an arrow. Those are your purchases. So you could click on that, and anything you purchase from them is in your account. So you can always come over here and download that file. All right, so that's super easy. If you make your purchase, let's say you're doing it from your phone or a tablet or something, you can't download it right then. You're just go ahead and make the purchase, and then later when you get to your computer, then you can just come into your CraftBundlescom account and come over here after you log in and find where you put your download, and then you can download. That's a question I get asked a lot. I want to buy it right now, but I'm not on my computer. You can still make the purchase and then go back later and download your file. All right, so I wanted to point that out. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm now going to navigate over to where I saved that file. I thought I was going to. There we go. And I'm going to go in. I have a zillion folders, guys, so give me a second. Okay, so now I'm in my SVG file where I saved it. Then I'm going to Craft Bundles because that's where I saved the file. And then I want to come down here and I want to find the Blooming March Craft Bundle file because that's the one I saved. And you'll notice now that it is a zipped folder. See, it has a little zipper on the folder. What I'm going to do, because I'm using Windows, I can right click on that folder and it pops up a dialog box. And right here it says extract all. So I'm going to do that, and what it's happening is it's taking all those compressed files that are in that one folder and it's breaking them back apart on my computer, so then I will be able to see everything. So that'll take a second. I'm going to tell it yes, I want it to extract it. And what happens is it leaves you with the zipped folder here in your drive, okay, but it also then opens up. Let me just move that out of the way. It also then opens up a opened folder. And so now I'm going to go look at my open folder on my computer. So I'm still waiting for it to finish uploading. It has 1,700 items, guys, that are being uploaded into your into the open folder. So it'll take a second. That is perfectly normal. And once it's in there, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how to find stuff in it, in the folder, and then what are the things you're going to need to do to get it into Design Space. And there's several fonts that are included in this bundle, and so once you have the fonts on your computer in the folder, then you have to install the fonts that you want to have as part of your system fonts. And then those can go into Design Space. So just because you downloaded it into the folder here, those fonts are not installed yet. Okay, so it's all downloaded now. Here is the Blooming March Craft Bundle. I'm going to open that up. And then they have they're very organized. Their files are very organized. I love using their site. Not all SVG sites are this way, but Craft Bundles and Hungry JPEG are definitely above the par here. And so they have documentation folder, they have a fonts folder, and they have graphic folders. So when you look at documentation, it actually gives you, there's guides, complete guide. We'll just open that up real quick. Gives you Now you have a PDF of everything that you've gotten in that bundle. So if you like to print things out or save it on your computer somewhere where you can just scroll through, that is, you get this guide with this bundle. So that is in the documentation file. And then you have your font. So we're going to open that up. And then you have two folders. You have a quick install folder and you have an all fonts folder. The quick install folder opens up every font that was in that bundle. Okay, and you can install from here. All right, so I can right click on this and install all the fonts. I don't always install all the fonts because I like to pick which ones I know that I'm going to use and just install those. I may not want all the fonts. So what I want to do is then I can come over here to the all fonts folder. And then each of the fonts is in their own folder, okay? So let's say I want to install Little Mixed Up. So I'm going to look at that. So I'm going to open up that font folder. You're going to find there is a preview JPEG image for that particular font style. And then you're going to have an OTF file and a TTF file. And what does that mean? A Little Mixed Up is the name of the font, and then OTF stands for Open Type Font. And that is a particular way that a font was designed. It allows you access to if it has any extra flourishes or characters or things beyond the norm of the alphabet and numbers. It allows you access to all of those, but you may have to use a character map or a different program to be able to see those. But you can install the font as an OTF file, and that'll give you access to all of everything included in those fonts. Okay, so sometimes there's fonts that have like a big swirl and that are part of the fonts that you get like a plain font and then you get the swirls. That would mean that you need to install an OTF file to be able to see those. Okay, now, or you get a TTF file, and a TTF file is a true type font. That is typically what Cricut recommends that you install because it's just the fonts. It's not any of the extra characters. It typically works better in Design Space to have a TTF file because you don't have to use a special character map or anything else to access that in Design Space. So you can decide which one of these that you want to install. For this particular font, I'm just going to install the TTF, but if I had something that I know had a lot of flourishes on it, I may choose to install the OTF. You can also install both of them if you prefer to do that. So we're going to go ahead and install the font. Okay. The true type font is the one that Design Space likes to use. So I'm going to highlight that one. I'm going to right click with my mouse and then I'm going to tell it to install. Okay, now what it's doing is it's actually installing on my computer. Okay, so it'll install for a second, it'll be in my font folder, and then once it's installed, then next time I log into Design Space, that font will show up. Okay, so we're going to remember the name of this, so when we go into a Design Space in a minute, you will see that it is installed. So this one's called A Little Mixed Up. I'm just writing it down so I know which one I installed. Okay, so that's how you would install a font from here, okay? If you're, like I said, if you're using a different computer, I know Mac has a different program that they use to install their fonts, and you would just need to do it the normal way you would do it, okay? So now we've looked at how to install a font, and now we want to look at the graphics, because that's the pretty part, right? And so you'll see two folders here. One says all graphics and one says compile graphics. All graphics gives you a list of every single image that was included in that, and it also includes the patterns and everything is included in there. And then you can open up each one separately. Let's see, bunnies and bows. That one's super cute. So bunnies and bows was a set that you got as part of this bundle, and then each one has their own folder, and in that folder are some files. And those files, there is a preview JPEG of that image that we'll click on that so you can see what that looks like. And it's just going to show you the picture of what that file is. Okay, so that gives you that. Let me move that out of the way. And then you have different file types, but there's also a PNG. So there's a DXF file, there's an EPS file, and there's a PNG, and then there are the Bunnies and Bows SVG in pieces and Bunnies and Bows SVG whole, okay? And we'll look at that in a minute. The DXF and the EPS are file types that you don't really use that much in Design Space. What you're going to be interested in is the PNG file, okay? So PNG is going to be files that are already printable, okay? So it's not a cut file, it's a print file, and that's what you're going to use if you want to use any of these images and use the print and cut feature in Design Space. And we'll go through this in a minute. And then you have your SVG files, okay? So all your graphics that you get are going to be like this. They're going to be in a folder. They're going to have their own extensions for that particular image, and then that's what you're going to go to when you want to use it in Design Space. So now that we know what the folders look like and how we download them and what we do, let's go into Design Space. I was not logged into Design Space, so mine was not open. So now that I'm logging into Design Space, and I'm going to come over here to create a new project. And I'm going to go into text, and we're going to go see if we can find that font. So instead of it being all the font list, you could look at all the font list, but I like to just look for it easier in the system font. So I'm going to click system fonts, and then all the fonts that have come over from my computer are now listed in Design Space for me to use. Okay. So I want to find the one that we just installed, which was Little Mixed Up. There it is. And now I would be able to use that font in Design Space. I'll just type in Debbie. Okay, so that's one of the fonts. Then that's how you would get to it. Okay, so you can install any of those fonts that you get in part of these bundles. You'd be able to have those. Okay, now what I did want to mention at this point is that just because you have installed a font in Design Space on your desktop version does not mean you're going to find that system font on any of your mobile devices. So if you have an iPad or an iPhone or an Android tablet or an Android phone, just because you've installed the system font on your desktop version, you will not find those on your mobile devices. You would have to, once again, download the font that you want using a program that is specific to your mobile device to download that font on your mobile device. And there's different directions for doing that. I'm not going to cover that in this video. The reason this is because every mobile device comes with its own set of system fonts. They're not going to be exactly the same ones you have installed on your desktop, okay? And so they don't cross over, I guess. So you'd have to install those specifically. So if you were working on a project in Design Space, and let's say you're using your iPad, and you had installed a font in your desktop version, and then you went to find it in your iPad version, and you had a project that you had saved on your desktop that used that font, but you wanted to cut it from your mobile device, your iPad, what's going to happen is you're going to go find that project, but when you go to cut it, it's going to come up and tell you that you'll get an error message that you're not able to cut that file. Most often that is because you do not have that font installed on your mobile device. Okay, now that we've got our fonts into Design Space from the bundles, let's talk about how do we upload all the pretty, beautiful images so we can use them in Design Space. So I'm going to go into, down here in your left-hand menu, there is something called Upload. Again, with that little cloud with a arrow on it. And this is going to take you into Design Space to be able to upload your files. So you've got two different things going on here. You'll have your upload images and you'll have upload patterns. Some of the graphic image sets in these bundles actually have patterns as well. And all right, so upload image would allow you to upload JPEGs, GIF files, PNG files, BMP files, SVG files, and DFX files. The ones that we primarily use in Design Space are going to be SVG files and PNG files. And so let's go take a look at that. So I'm going to go upload image, go over to browse, and I'm going to go to my computer, and I will have navigated over to whichever file it is that I want to use. Okay, so this particular bunny bundle, I'm going to use the Bunnies and Bows file, and within that folder there are different file types here. So you have a preview JPEG, then you have a DXF, an EPS file, a PNG, and then there's two different SVG files. All right. DXF is a particular type of file that you don't really use in Design Space that much, and an EPS file, same thing. Things you want to use will be the PNG file. The PNG file is it's already been formatted in a printable way, so this is a great file to go grab when you want to use it in the print and cut feature in Design Space. So you would come over here, grab the PNG file. It's going to put it in your upload area, and there's different options here on how to best convert a file into a PNG file, but this already came in as a PNG file, so it's already cleaned up for us. But you could just select complex because it has a lot of colors and shapes and stuff. So we're going to select complex, and then I'm going to hit continue. Okay, and when you do that, sometimes your files, depending upon how they were set up when they imported over, the file looks really big on your screen. Don't panic. Come over here to the little magnifying glasses, and you can zoom in and out so you can get it to a size that you can see easily on your screen. Now, once you have this file is already ready. A PNG file is already ready to use. There's nothing else you have to do to it typically. So we're just going to come down here and hit continue. And then it's going to go to the next step in Design Space, and that's going to be to let you know that you are going to save this as a print and cut image. Then this way you don't have to flatten an image or do anything else to it. You're already going to be able to print it. Now, there is another option here. It says save as a cut image. The save as a cut image for this just means it's going to cut the outline of all of that image, okay? You don't want this one. What you're going to want to do is upload an SVG file. This is only going to give you, see here, like the bunny ears have the little inside of the bunny ear and the outside of the bunny ear. On a SVG file, you're going to see both of those layers. On this file that says save as a cut image, it's only going to give you the outside shape. Okay, so typically you're not going to save this. What you're going to want to save for a PNG file is the one that says save as a print and cut image. So you know that because it has a little green bounding box around it. And then over here you have an option to, it'll come in with the name of the image, and you have an option to change that. So I like to know it's the Bunnies and Bows, and then I always want to know which bundle mine came from, so I'm just going to put CB because I know that then it's a craft bundle file. And then in tags, you can tag your file. So this is Bunnies and Bows. I can do bunnies. Well, I can do Easter because it's kind of like an Easter kind of image. And so that'll be enough for me for right now. And that just helps you look for things in Design Space after you've saved them. So now we're going to hit the save button. It'll take a second. Okay, now what you'll find is that you have an image library here of everything you've uploaded, all right? And that's your personal image upload. And you'll see just a few of the images when you first comes up. It just kind of gives you like a preview of it. And then If you want to see everything you've ever uploaded, you click View All, and then that's going to give you the giant list of everything you've uploaded. And it'll take a second because I have a lot loaded. Okay. So once you get it in here, then you would click on it. And again, you have the green box that lets you know it's selected. And then down here in your system tray, you'll know that that image has been put in, and you can say Insert Image, and it's going to add it to your Design Space mat. Okay. Now there again, depending upon the file size when it got imported in, it may look too big to you. You can always come down here to the zoom and make your screen a little bit smaller so you can see the whole image, and you can size it and so forth. But what I wanted to show you was that when you come over here to the layers panel, you're going to know that this is already a printed, ready for print. Okay, so it has the little printer icon, so you'd be able to add this image on top of on a piece of paper and have it print out and use the print and cut feature and cut all that out. I'm not going to go into that step right now, but that's how you get a PNG file in. I'm going to delete this, and now we want to go over and upload the SVGs. So we're going to go into Upload Image again. We're going to go back to Browse. We're in that same folder where my bunnies and bows is located, and now we have this particular image set has 2 SVG files. The first SVG file says Pieces on it, and the second one says Whole. All right. Now the Pieces image, and I'll show you that the Pieces image is every little section of this is split out. I don't personally prefer or recommend that you import that type of a file because it makes it hard for you to see what that image is supposed to look like all put together. So I generally don't upload those. What I like to upload would be the one that says Whole. Okay, so we're going to click on that one, and now you see it's the whole image. So you would be able to see what is that file going to look like when you put it together as an SVG file. There again, it's already got the name of the file on here, or you can rename it, whatever you want, but I'm going to add the SCB so I know it came from Craft Bundles. And then I'm going to do the same thing here where I go bunnies and bows, and I can do Easter, that kind of thing. And you can even put SVG on here if you want. So I'm going to hit Save, and it'll take a second. And now it has put that into my Design Space file. So we're going to click on this, and we're going to do Insert Image. We're going to put it on our Cricut mat. And like I said, it'll take a second to do that. And of course, it came in huge. So we're going to come down here, and it'll depending upon the designer, when they put it in, your file will come in at different sizes, and you can just go ahead and just move it till it's small enough that you can see it on your screen easier. Okay, and of course you can always come up here into your, let's see, 8 inches. Okay, I'm just making it small enough that we can see it easily. Okay, so we've got it in. We can come in here and tell Design Space whatever sizes that we want it to be or whatever. Now you can tell that this is the cut file because it has the scissor icon in your layers panel. Okay, so, and you can see here all those little pieces are broken down, and that would cut out separately. So you would be able to cut it out of vinyl or paper or whatever product you want to cut it out of, and then you'd be able to layer those images. Okay, there again, like on the bunny ears, where it has the bunny and then it has the inside of the ear, this way it's going to cut those two different pieces for you. That's why you always want to do it as a whole image. All right, so you would be able to find this in your upload folder, or if you size this, let's say you're playing with this and you know that you have already, you figure out how big do you want this to be to put on the front of a shirt for a kid or something. I can do this. I can save it. I'm just going to save it bunny and bow shirt. That way I know I've already saved it as a shirt file, and I've already got it saved. Okay, now I can mess with this, get it imported, get it ready. And then maybe I don't have time right now to cut it out, but now it's in my project folder. So when I go into projects, I know that this is ready for me to use. And I can just come click on it. It's going to put it on my mat, and I can go about my merry way and get my project cut out. Okay. I would also be able to find this now that I saved it as a project. I would be able to find it in Design Space for me to be able to use it. Okay, so now we know how to add our fonts, our SVG files, and our PNG files from CraftBundlescom. And the same process that I showed you here would also work with the Hungry JPEG bundles, since they're sister companies, the same kind of layout. My name's Debbie O'Neill. I'm with ScrapMeQuickDesigns.com. Come join me over there, where I offer tutorials on using Design Space and making crafty projects. And you can certainly come join us over at my Let's Learn Cricut Explore Facebook group or my Cricut Maker with Debbie O'Neill Facebook group. Appreciate you using my link to make a purchase with CraftBundles.com or Hungry JPEG. And if you want to earn a little bit extra discount, be sure and use my promo code SMQD20 to get 20% off of your bundle purchases. All right, talk to you guys later. Leave me comments, give me a thumbs up on this video. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'm happy to help you. These are great files. They cut great with the Cricut Explore and the Cricut Maker, and I cannot wait to see what you make.